Aletha Fields is our next presenter today. She's a minister and a JCPS teacher. She is a longtime Louisville resident and a community-raised social justice activist with her most prestigious roots in the Fairness Campaign, of which she is a past co-coordinator. She also extends her passion to teach and help others through her work as a minister and is a faithful member of Bates Memorial Baptist Church. Thank you, Aletha.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Much love, respect, and peace to all of my ancestors who have been brutalized and murdered by the police. So I would just like to have a moment for them. Thank you. I would like to, in my tradition, as a Black Indigenous woman, I would like to start now with honoring those who have come before me. So I have two foreparents on this call today, Dave Horvath and Judy Schroeder, who have been instrumental in shaping me as at the time, a new activist in Louisville. And so I want to give honor to both of them for the beautiful work and investment and immeasurable patience with me, particularly as a younger activist. I would also like to honor and acknowledge my sibling, Karina Varias, for the great work that she continues to do with La Casita and bringing the issues that are facing our Latinx siblings and children to the forefront. And then honor to my kinfolk, my niece, Stachel Bussey. We're not blood related, but we are kinfolk. And so I'm always honored when I get to be around her while she's out there being punctured, as she said, in these streets. So to connect Stachel to my life, my son that she mentored in music ministry, my baby boy, he was in the shopping cart in the buggy at the grocery store with me one day. He was little, maybe 4 years old. And so he was still small enough to sit in the little compartment there, you know, where you stick your legs through and hold on to the little cart. And we had a Happy Meal before we came into the grocery store, and he had his little Happy Meal toy. And so as we went to check out at the grocery store, the clerk, who also happened to be a white person, she said, "Are you going to pay for that toy?" And I said, "No, it came in his Happy Meal, so it's already been paid for." She said, "That looks like a new toy." And she stopped checking me out and flipped the light on at the checkout lane, and the manager came over. And I knew that my blood pressure was rising, and I was in my 30s, so I was absolutely nothing nice. I had no patience whatsoever and very little grace for people who, one, accused me, and two, who were openly racist toward me. I had absolutely no grace and no patience. But what tempered my whole response was the fact that my two small children were with me, and the one thing I didn't want them to ever see was me being arrested. I didn't ever want my children to see me in handcuffs or being brutalized by the police, because the one thing that I knew that they were for sure to have as Black Indigenous children who happen to have, one has chocolate brown skin and the other has a fairer complexion of skin, fair, not necessarily in terms of beauty, but fair in the in gradation, in color gradation. So one was darker and one was lighter. So I already knew that people would make a difference between my children because of colorism. And so I knew that because they were Black Indigenous boys, that the memories they would have of the police would be memories that the police brought to my children that I could never, ever protect my children from. So the day they were born, and many people on here have had children, and sometimes Black people and Latinx people and Southeast Asianers and other indigenous people, when we have darker children or we are darker skinned people and we have babies in America, sometimes that is bittersweet. We don't get a sweeping joy. Stachel's mother did not get a sweeping joy when Stachel was born, not because she wasn't happy that her child was born healthy and that her child was born safe enough that she could be delivered. But what Stachel's mother experiences, what I experienced and many other women of color experience, is the fact that we know what our precious little baby that we're holding in our arms, that still, has womb fluid all over it, and the baby is warm and it's ours. We don't get the sweeping joy. We get the bitter taste of the reality of America. We get the bitter taste of being in the grocery line with the child having the Happy Meal toy and the manager having to look up the items to make sure that that toy wasn't sold in that store. I'll fast forward you 4 more years when Mark was 8 and his brother was 12. And I live at the top of the Highlands here in Louisville. I'm a former resident of Old Louisville. And so I thought, well, I'll move to the Highlands. It'll be a nicer area, I would believe, so on and so forth. And so we live close to what used to be the Bader's gas station. It's right across the street from Cave Hill Cemetery. So if you're facing Cave Hill Cemetery, the first street to the left is my street. So the children asked, Mom, can we and our friends walk to the grocery store? We want some candy and some beef jerky. And I said, you may. You will stay together. You will be respectful. You will stay in plain sight. You will not have your hands in your pockets. You will not be loud when you go in. You will not, you will not, you will not, you will not, etc. So they left and went to the store with their friends. It started to sprinkle outside, but it also began to pour down rain in my heart. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. Something said, get up off of your sofa, stop watching Andy Griffith and get in that car and go find those children. They had just left the house in our very quiet neighborhood. When I got to the Bader's store in literal walking distance of my home, when I turned the corner to come out of Rogers Street, I can see the store. When I got to the corner of Rogers Street and I could see the store, I also saw my 2 black boys face down, 12 and 8 years old, on the concrete. Now it's pouring down rain. They are handcuffed and police are standing over them. Little boys, my children were little. They were adolescents, innocent, and the police have them face down on the sidewalk. Over 401 years of oppression did not begin with just one person saying, I hate Black people. It began with a pathological narcissism that we call white domination, and some people call it supremacy, but I find no moral supremacy in a color. I find moral supremacy in the fact that I believe in a power higher than myself. And if I don't hold on to that power that is higher than myself, I wouldn't be on this call tonight. I would be incarcerated. And I would have been incarcerated 6 years ago when my oldest son, the brownest person in my house, came home with blood-soaked clothing. The police had beat the hell out of him. He has no hell left in him because the police beat it out of him. His brand new outfit, his brand new boots, his brand new jeans. And I'm not saying this to traumatize you or to exploit the exploitation of the police upon my children. I'm letting you know this is a reality that many of us live with. The police are no friend of mine, and I have law enforcement officers in my family. All I can say to them is, I hope you are who grandma thinks you are. Because if you're anything else, I know we're related by blood, but we will never, ever be able to claim one another on moral ground. So I'm going to stop there and looking forward to what everyone else has to say. Thank you.
I think as we ask the question, what's going on, we are finding answers, and the answers are not pretty, but they're real. Thank you.
Aletha, will you give us some final thoughts?
Absolutely. Thank you all. I just have enjoyed myself so much this evening and feel uplifted, inspired, and encouraged to keep moving. So as we all have to reckon with the history of racial injustice in this country, everything we're seeing is it's a symptom of a larger problem that we have inside of this country. And so that is just what it is, blatant racism. And so as we are coming together in rooms like this, it's what Stachel said. It is how I ground myself is who do I want to be in this moment in history? Who do I want to be? Am I going to perpetrate participation and allyship in front of my descendants? Am I going to perpetrate that? Or am I going to be real about it and make it happen? And I learned from Judy Schroeder years and years ago. She taught me that glue is that guilt rather is the glue that can hold unproductive behaviors in place. And so as we all work to move to higher consciousness about our part in all of what's going on right now, because you don't have to claim it, but you are a part of it, and so am I. So I want to encourage you and also challenge you to decide and determine for yourself what John Lewis left us in his posthumous letter. He said, answer the highest calling of your heart. And the other part of it, I'll just paraphrase, stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what you believe in. And I'll replace the word stand to show up, to use the word show up, because stand is ableist at times, but to show up for what you truly believe in. Because there are a lot of white people out there who sound woke, but let me tell you the truth about some folks. You can be woke and still be in bed. Thank you.
Thank